how did you break out of prison? When I told my ultra-religious parents I was pregnant at 17, my father told me to go down to the basement while they consulted with God about what to do. When the door locked behind me, I realized I was never coming back up. My parents had always been extreme. My mother once made me kneel on rice for 6 hours because she caught me reading a magazine with a shirtless man on the cover. My father installed cameras in my bedroom to make sure I wasn't inviting Satan while I was alone. They organized prayer circles outside the homes of neighbors they considered sinful, but I never thought they'd do this to their own daughter. The first few days, I pounded on the door until my hands bled. My father finally spoke through the slot. He said, "Your sin has made you toxic. You'll live down there until we figure out how to cleanse the corruption you're carrying." They slid meals through a slot like I was a rabid animal. When they came downstairs to empty my waste bucket, they wore rubber gloves and surgical masks. My mother would spray disinfectant in the air after leaving like my pregnancy was a disease she could catch. I had nothing but a cot, a bucket, and stacks of religious pamphlets. What my parents didn't realize was that the heating vent in my ceiling connected directly to the kitchen. I could hear every conversation they had at the table. One night, about 3 weeks in, I pressed my ear to the vent and heard my father on the phone. He said, "Yes, Pastor Holt, we understand the procedure. Sacred drowning to purify the child and remove the mother's sin from its soul." My blood went cold. My mother's voice came next. She said, "And what happens to her after the birth?" My father said, "She stays in the basement forever. We'll tell everyone she ran away with some boy and broke our hearts. No one will ever know." I put my hand on my stomach and felt my baby kick. I knew I had to escape before I gave birth or they would kill my child and bury me alive down there. I couldn't overpower them. I couldn't break down the door. But I knew one thing about my parents. They were more afraid of God than they were certain of themselves. The next morning I called up through the slot. I said, "An angel visited me last night. His name was Ezreal. He told me things about you." My father laughed. He said, "Demons lie. That's all you're hearing down there." I said, "He told me about Pastor Holt. He told me about the family in Kentucky. He told me about sacred drowning." Complete silence on the other side of the door. I had never heard those names. They had never mentioned any of this to me. My mother whispered, "How does she know that?" Over the next few weeks, I kept having visions. Everything I overheard through the vent became a message from the angel. I predicted phone calls and burned dinners and late-night visitors. Each time their fear grew. My mother started leaving extra bread with my meals. My father started praying outside my door for hours. Then I heard the conversation that told me I was out of time. My father said, "The family from Kentucky arrives Saturday morning. We need to prepare her for extraction." I had 4 days. On the 4th night, my parents came down to pray over me before the visitors arrived. I was standing in the middle of the room completely still with my eyes closed. My father started reading scripture. I didn't move or respond. My mother said, "Why isn't she reacting?" Then I let my head snap back and opened my eyes as wide as they could go. I dropped my voice low and spoke slowly like every word came from somewhere ancient. I said, "You dare approach the vessel?" My parents stumbled backward. I pointed at my father and said, "I have watched you, Harold. I know what you do on your computer when Margaret is sleeping. I have seen every sin you hide from her." I was guessing, but his face went completely white. My mother turned to look at him and I saw doubt flash across her face. I turned to her and said, "And you knew what he was. Your silence makes you complicit in his damnation." My mother started sobbing and backing toward the stairs. I walked toward them slowly with my arms raised. I said, "This child is marked by heaven. If you lay one finger on her, your bloodline will be cursed for 7 generations. I will drag you to hell myself and watch you burn." My father fell to his knees shaking. I pointed at the stairs and let my voice boom through the basement. I said, "Open the door. Let the vessel pass, or face the wrath of everything holy." My father scrambled up the stairs on his hands and knees with my mother crawling behind him whimpering. I walked up calmly while they collapsed on the kitchen floor crying and begging God for mercy. I stepped over their bodies, walked out the front door, and went straight to the police. My daughter is 4 now, and I tell her an angel saved us both. She doesn't need to know the angel was me.